Hi everyone, you're watching It's Lit with Britt. I'm here with my guest today, Ryan Dorfman. Ryan, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? I'm Ryan Dorfman. I graduated from Cronkite in May. We were in the same thing, class, bureau, whatever you want to call it.
We were in the sports
bureau together. That was fun. Anyway, now we're back, so let's get it.
So Ryan was my go-to guy for MMA. The only other person in the class I felt like really was into it. So if I ever wanted to talk MMA with somebody, I would go to him. So I'm very pleased to have him on the show with all the MMA content I want to cover today. But first, it is Super Bowl week, so let's dive right into it. Patriots versus Rams. Ryan, tell me who you got.
Rams.
Rams.
Yeah, go with the Rams.
You cannot bet against Tom Brady.
I don't care.
You cannot bet against Tom Brady.
I'm going with the Rams. They're going to hit him. They're going to hit him early. All right. I'm going with the Rams. They're going to get revenge for the game in 2001.
Oh,
Rams, baby.
It was 2002, by the way. 2002.
2002? Okay. Well,
2002.
all right, whatever. Rams all the way.
All right. Well, you know what? I personally think that you can never bet against Tom Brady in a clutch game like this. Yes, they lost last year in the Super Bowl, but who has the most Super Bowl rings right now? He's tied, Tom Brady, tied with only one other player. He was a defensive lineman, played for the Cowboys and the 49ers, and he also has the most postseason touchdowns with 73. Second place is Joe Montana. Granted, I get it, it's two different leagues now, but Tom Brady blew him out of the water, still playing this long into his career, and he has currently set the passing record for the most yards in the postseason at just under 11,000. Peyton Manning in second place with just over 7,000. So, you know what, I think you have to just admit Tom Brady has done some great things, whether you love him or hate him. He has done so many amazing things.
He
and
can't beat the Giants, though.
He can't. He can't.
That's his kryptonite, the Giants.
Just not in the Super Bowl.
It's not, can't beat the Giants in the Super Bowl. Cannot beat the Giants.
Personally, I don't think you can bet against Tom Brady. There's just so much experience.
I'm doing it.
Well, you do it, but I'm going to go with the Patriots. My pick is the Patriots. I can't pick against the Patriots or Tom Brady or Bill Belichick in a clutch game like this. Belichick's teams are just so disciplined. So disciplined, you're not going to see them jump off sides, anything like that, especially at a crucial play, third down, anything like that. They're not going to do it. So,
we'll see.
All right. Focusing on a more local angle here, I want to touch on Larry Fitzgerald and his decision not to retire. He's going to come back for one more season, re-sign. Opinion.
This man's a dinosaur. He should be retiring immediately. I don't know why he's playing right now. I mean, honestly, I would have retired. Like, the team sucks. Like, I would not. Why did he want to play for them again? They're terrible.
Well, I think he wants to come back and just have that one last season, and I get it. He keeps coming back saying, I want one last season. I want one last season.
Why?
I'm hoping, this is my opinion,
I guess he's chasing records.
I'm hoping that with the hiring of Cliff Kingsbury, it will help him, because with the hiring of Cliff Kingsbury, it shows that the Cardinals are committed to Josh Rosen being their quarterback. Josh Rosen is a gunslinger. He can pass. We saw him play for UCLA. He did fairly decent while he was there. Actually, he did really well while he was there. You can't deny that. And I think you also have to look at the fact that Cliff Kingsbury is a air raid offensive coach. So you can tell that their style of play, they hired him to specifically focus on Josh Rosen. And I think that Larry Fitzgerald has the potential to have a great season. But in order for that to happen, I think the key is going to lie within the the offensive line. Josh Rosen has to have enough time for Larry to get open.
Right.
Get the ball down the field. I think that's key.
Yeah, but Rosen was like, out of all the quarterbacks taken last year, he was the worst. He was like the worst out of all of them. That was like taken like out of like the Allen and Darnold and Jackson and Mayfield.
Look at how
he was
Sam
the worst.
Darnold has done. Sam Darnold hasn't done much better.
I'd rather have Sam Darnold than Josh Rosen.
Well, I mean, we can do the ifs, ands, and buts of who it is, but point is, Larry Fitzgerald coming back for one more season. Do you think he should retire? Personally, I don't really know what's going on.
He needs a cane to walk around. He definitely should retire.
Cardinals need to make some sort of change, though. Moving on to the NBA. Let's talk about the Suns, their dismal state that they're in.
They suck.
30 games left this season, and they have a record right now of 11-41. What, if you're the Suns, do you want to see them improve, or do you think they should just tank and go for the top draft?
Tank for Zion, baby, tank for Zion.
Which is what a lot of people are saying they should do. I don't know. I think that something needs to be done, though, within the Suns organization, because you have so many amazing players. You got Devin Booker, you got DeAndre Ayton, and they can't do anything.
He's
they
overrated.
cannot seem to get anything going.
Ayton's overrated.
Specify.
Ayton is overrated. They should have drafted Doncic. They hire a coach. Igor Koskakov, whatever, and then he works with Doncic, and then they're like, oh, but we're not going to draft Doncic, we're going to draft Ayton, and Doncic is out here doing stuff that LeBron was doing, okay? 30-point triple-double, they got Ayton. Josh Jackson can't shoot the ball, all right? They completely screwed up with Bender. I mean, thank God that fired McDonough, because he missed on so many picks.
Well, moving on, MLB. Diamondbacks.
Oh,
they are
God.
also in a state of disarray here. So after getting rid of Goldy,
Do you hear your voice you're like, oh, okay.
because I don't want to talk about it.
It's depressing. Honestly, it sounds depressing.
It's sad to talk about Arizona sports right now. The state that they're in. I mean, I'm not really an Arizona sports fan, at least on the professional level. But yeah, and that's part of the argument I'm going to get to coming up here. But MLB, man. Diamondbacks trade away Goldschmidt, right? He's gonna do great things in St. Louis. They got to steal with that. He was really the face, I think, of the Diamondbacks. If you could identify anybody with the Diamondbacks, it would have been Goldschmidt. Mm-hmm. Then they get rid of Pollock. Granted, Pollock was made of glass. I felt like he was always injured, didn't play a lot.
That's true.
But they're gonna get rid of him, and he goes to the Dodgers. No one wants to see someone from their team that they support go to the rivals. And to make things worse, the Dodgers made it to the World Series last year. Mm-hmm. Granted, they didn't win, but they made it. Yeah. So, again, that's another blow for Diamondbacks fans. No one wants to see them their players go to play for their rivals. Then you have the next question of, those two have played for the Diamondbacks and been like an iconic star duo. Who now is going to be the face of the Diamondbacks? When you think of the Diamondbacks, who are you going to associate with them? Because I only have one player that comes to mind.
It's not going to be Greinke. He's leaving. I mean, if I were him, I'd want to get out of there too. I don't know, the mascot? I mean, who do you think is going to be the face of the
only person I could think of that, when you think of the Diamondbacks franchise and you can relate to them, or you think Diamondbacks and you automatically are going to correlate them to the team, is going to be Archie Bradley. And that's only because he's so out there on social media. He's very personable. He's fun. And he goes to other sporting events around the Valley. You know, he's always going out supporting ASU Basketball, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he makes himself known and he participates in things, but he's really the only person I think that they have left that anyone can even, think of when you think of the Diamondbacks.
That's sad.
You know, when you think of the Diamondbacks, tell me who else that they really have that you're going to be like, oh.
I still think of Goldie. I can't disassociate that image. It's going to be weird seeing him in a Cardinals uniform.
Yeah.
That's just going to be bizarre. I don't know what they're doing over there. They got some problems.
Again, there's another state of, like I said, Diamondbacks are just in disarray. So here we are.
Yeah.
Leading into my hot take of the week. Arizona sports. The fans deserve better. Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Suns, all of them are terrible. You cannot tell me that there is a reason for this. So my personal opinion is they treat all of these teams like this is still a small market, but this is no longer a small market.
All of them. They all suck.
Well, here's the thing. The owners still treat the teams like this is a small market. Phoenix is no longer a small market. Phoenix is one of 13 places that has
big market,
all four professional sports teams. So they need to be taken a little bit more seriously, especially with the growing population of Phoenix.
Can you name all 13?
I can't. Nice try.
Rookie.
I heard Brett Curlin say 13 enough times that I know that there's 13. But like I was saying, I mean, you can no longer treat this like it's a small market team. Yeah. I mean, with the growing population in Phoenix, you're finally starting to have way more kids who are born here, growing up here, that are going to be looking for a team to connect with. Right. You want to connect with your hometown team. No one wants to connect with the bad team. They're going to then default to their parents' teams. Their parents grew up Dallas Cowboys fans. They're going to be Cowboys fans. Their parents grew up Yankees fans. They're from the East Coast. They're going to be Yankees fans. Holla, by the way. They're going to grow up and be Miami Heat fans. Like, I don't know. But you have got to do something to elevate the talent and the production of what you have on the field, on the court. Like, it's mind-blowing how absolutely terrible it is. So that's my hot take. Something has got to be done. The fans in Arizona deserve better, or else you're never going to be able to build a fan base in Arizona. You have an opportunity, seize it while you can, or else forever have mediocre fans, honestly.
That's bad. It's not good. It's not good.
No. All right. Moving on to MMA. Let's talk about Bellator 214. Last card over the weekend for Bellator. Co-main event had two fighters from Arizona. So we had Ryan Bader, who was a former Arizona State wrestler, and we have fights out of Power MMA in Gilbert. And then we also had Henry Corrales, who fights out of the MMA Lab. Both of them won with knockout victories in the first round. Both of them were underdogs. So let's first touch on Ryan Bader, his 35-second knockout.
Yeah.
Huge knockout for him, 35 seconds. With that, he not only solidified his spot, in my opinion, as one of the best in MMA for heavyweight fighters in history, but he also now has 2 belts. So he has the light heavyweight belt and he has the heavyweight belt for the division. He won the heavyweight Grand Prix that started last year in January in that race for the vacated heavyweight belt. And yeah, he's gone 5-0 since he's been with Bellator. He fought a majority of his career with the UFC, but he's done great under Bellator. So what are your takes on things?
Okay, so I don't know if you knew this. I was actually in Vegas this weekend. Yeah,
Okay.
I was in Vegas, and we'll talk about the Pico thing in a minute. And I gotta get to that. I got a funny story for that. But when I saw that he won in like 35 seconds, I was like, wow. Like against Fedor, like one of the best heavyweights of all time.
Yeah.
Like just
I was shocked, honestly.
Huge statement win for him.
Well, because, don't get me wrong, Ryan Bader is amazing, but Fedor is a hard fight.
That's a Hall of Famer. That's a Hall of Fame fighter.
And to win in 35 seconds with a knockout was just absolutely amazing.
Crazy.
Now, he also was the first Bellator fighter in history to have 2 different belts in 2 different divisions. So, I mean, Amanda Nunes has it in the UFC, Conor McGregor has it, but you know what? Now, Ryan Bader's up there making history for Bellator.
Let's get it. Brian Bader versus Cormier for the champ.
Yes!
Let's go!
Yes! The Bellator UFC face-off, square-off.
Let's get it.
And just to clarify some things for people who may be watching who may not know, Bellator and UFC are both promotions. They both are mixed martial arts. I do want to touch on this because some people are they say, oh, you do UFC, oh, you do this. No, the people train mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts is a sport. Bellator, UFC, promotions, they're just events that people compete at, but they compete the same sport.
Yeah.
Which is mixed martial arts. Let's move on to the co-main event.
Oh, yeah.
Henry Corrales. I think he's just an awesome person, so I'm a little bit biased here.
Okay.
He trains at the same gym as me, MMA Lab, out in Glendale. Holla, what's up? Anyways, perhaps one of the best recoveries I think I've ever seen in a fight to come back and 20 seconds later get a knockout.
Yeah.
Beating one of the featherweight prospects that's on the up and up right now. And Henry Corrales, even with a 16-3 record going into the fight, was an underdog.
Yeah.
Which is nuts to me. Because
Pico
was only 4-1.
Yeah. It's a prodigy right there. Okay. So I was in Vegas this weekend. I almost put $700 on Aaron Pico to win.
I'm glad you didn't.
I was this close to doing it.
I'm glad you didn't.
I'm glad I didn't too. And I was looking at the highlights and I saw Pico crack him with the shot, and I'm like, holy crap, Pico must have knocked him out. And then 5 seconds later, I kept watching, and I was like, oh wait, it's not over. And then I'm like, wait, what? Pico's going down. Like, when Pico's out cold, I'm like, what is going on? Like, Pico lost? That's crazy. Like, I was in shock. I was legitimately in shock. Like, holy.
It was definitely nerve-wracking. You see Henry get clipped, and then he recovers miraculously. I mean, I really don't think it's off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody who's had a better recovery that comes back.
I can. Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder.
Okay.
When he hit the canvas and then pops back up like a zombie from Walking Dead, he's like, I'm back.
Yes, but very rarely. Very rarely.
Yes, I agree. Very rarely.
It does not happen very often. One of the best recoveries.
Frankie Edgar does it a lot. He can take shots.
He does. He takes shots, but he doesn't get necessarily dropped so
that
much.
That was
amazing. Like I said, not only was he able to get up and recover, 20 seconds later he knocks him out.
Yeah.
Which is just absolutely amazing to me. Which also strengthens the argument for why he deserves a title shot at the featherweight belt for Bellator against Pitbull.
I'm heartbroken though for Pico. I'm not gonna lie. I'm heartbroken. Like, I love the guy. He's a prodigy.
He's a prodigy, but he'll recover. This is how you bounce back.
I'm very upset
Corrales
about
is a tough fight, man. Corrales is a tough fight.
I look, like, he wrote on Instagram, he's like, I made a rookie mistake. I think that is what happened. I did think he made a rookie mistake. I think he's the better fighter than Corrales.
No.
I do.
No.
Yes, I do. I think he's the better guy.
Like I said, I'm a little bit biased, but I don't know, man. Henry got him with that right hook.
He won that. He got that round, but I mean, I think
that's all that matters. He knocked him out. Finished the fight.
Yeah, I got you.
Finished the fight. But also coming up this weekend, we're both gonna go to the LFA 59 fights that are taking place in Phoenix. And the card is just packed with local talent. So let's read off what we have. There's 10 bouts. I think 9 out of 10 of them have a local fighter, if not 2 local fighters facing each other. So we have first bout of the card is going to be Reyes Jr. Cortez fighting Justin Hughes for a 135-pound bout. Reyes Jr. Cortez is the one fighting out of Phoenix. Not sure what gym, couldn't tell. Looked like it was fight ready, but he also was doing some mitt work at other places, so I wasn't really sure.
Fight ready.
Try to find out.
Home of the champ.
Henry Cejudo. Also, TJ Dillashaw. Let's jump back to that UFC Brooklyn event for a second. Henry Cejudo would have won that either way. Dillashaw was done. Dillashaw was put away. Yeah. He wasn't coming back.
Yeah.
Dillashaw can talk all he wants, talk all that big game. He was not coming back. Anyways, moving on. With my home at the lab, Hunter Azur, local fighting Jamie Hernandez at 135. We got a lot of bantamweight bouts on this card for men. Tim Welch, MMA lab fighter, Bellator vet, was a contestant on Tough 22. He's going to face off against Ty Freeman in a welterweight bout. That's going to be good. Tim's been coming off of a lot of injuries. He had a bicep tear, had an injury to his jaw.
Nice.
I'm excited to watch Tim get back in there for sure. I think he's very talented. He's young at only 28. He has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping to see Tim go out and put on for the city, put on for Montana because that's where he's from. Also on the card, Kyler Phillips of the MMA lab. Gonna face off against Emeka Ifakandu. Not really sure how you say that one. Sorry for butchering the name. Really tough one, but that also is a bantamweight bout, 135 pounds.
Sounds like he's from Wakanda.
Kyler Phillips also is one of the contestants selected to fight for a spot on one of the tough shows. Unfortunately, did not make it in, got eliminated in the fight to get into the house, but at 5-1, he's a brown belt. He's got a lot of potential. Young up-and-comer. He's only 23, too.
Yeah. Damn.
Kevin Natividad, Arizona Combat Sports. This is the first fight of the card that's going to have 2 Arizona fighters on it. Kevin Natividad, Arizona Combat Sports out in Tempe, is going to be taking on Andy Perez of Apex MMA down in Tucson. That fight is going to be at 135 as well. Like I said, ton of bantamweights. A lot of little guys, but it's fun. It's fun to see them fight.
Both of those guys, or one of them, has fought for Combate once. So I'm pretty sure I've seen one of them fight. So that should be a good one. Looking forward to that.
Natividad, there's a brother too, and he's also pretty good.
Maybe that was his brother. I don't know.
We also have Daniel Madrid fighting at a Grace Fighting Systems Training Center in Glendale, who's going to face Seth Baczynski, Power MMA in Gilbert at 185. So you got
the Seth Baczynski, wow.
And then you got David Machado of the MMA Lab, UFC vet, who is going to be the main event of the night, taking on Christian Aguilera in a welterweight bout.
Yeah, so I just saw him fight. I saw him fight in Tucson for Combate. He took down this Brazilian guy that was like way bigger than him. I thought the Brazilian guy was definitely going to win.
And you're talking about Aguilera, correct?
No, I'm talking about David Machado.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta specify that.
Yeah, I'm talking about Machado. Yeah, Machado looked. Yeah, he looked good. I didn't think he was going to win. I counted him out. I probably shouldn't count him out again. I had no idea he was a UFC vet. But, yeah, he looked very good. So, the guy looks legit. So, keep an eye out for him, for sure. It's
going to be a great night of fights. We're going to be there. And I'm really looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah, should be good.
Moving on. ASU Hoops. Oh, God. Road split between UCLA, USC.
Don't talk about it. I was in Vegas, as I told you 5 minutes ago. I bet on ASU to win.
On the road sweep?
Oh, yeah, I bet an ASU to win.
That would have been big if they would have got it, because they haven't had a road sweep yet under Bobby Hurley.
I thought they were going to win. I don't get it. They beat Kansas. They can't beat USC.
They don't look the same after beating Kansas, which is the same thing that happened last year, ironically. They dropped the home game to Princeton. They split the series between Colorado and Utah. Princeton has some talent, but you know what? They're
a bunch of nerds.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, moving on. They split the Pac-12 conference opening home series against Utah and Colorado. But let's talk about the win against UCLA, because I think that was really big for them.
Yeah.
First win in Poly Pavilion since 2009.
Yeah.
Significant to the Sun Devils. Tayshaun Cherry took a beating in that game, and it was actually nice to see a player legitimately take a beating, take a charge, and not just kind of like flop. He really got hit a couple times, got elbowed, and you know what? He sacrificed his body, put it all on the line, and that's what I think helped the Sun Devils win.
They're just inconsistent.
They are very
inconsistent. Kansas and then lose to a bunch of nerds, Princeton, and can't beat USC. It pisses me off. Like, 1 minute they play like they can compete with the best teams in the country, and the next minute they're trash. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, they got to figure out how to, like, get in a groove or a rhythm by the time the tournament comes.
So my thought process is that it's a lack of mental discipline in a way. I almost feel like they're not mentally disciplined enough to keep their heads on track and not buy into the hype that they have. This USC loss, though, was especially frustrating.
Yeah.
I feel like they took a lot of poor shots. The shot selection that they took was not always the best. The ending of the game with the timeout, with Cheatham calling the timeout, there was still a little bit more time left on the clock. I don't want to put that on the reason that they lost, because I think that that's a cop-out. ASU lost that game because they took poor shots, and you know what? It just was chalked up to they just didn't do what they needed to do. They didn't get the job done on the court. I think a significant impact, though, and a significant factor, though, was the loss of Tayshaun Cherry. He was still sidelined with a concussion protocol for that game, but I'm interested to see what happens to them when he comes back into the rotation, into the lineup with this game against U of A on Thursday. Now, speaking of U of A, the Wildcats got swept. They got swept.
Yeah.
My bad. They got swept. I always get that word confused. My mom used to make fun of me, actually, forever. Anyways, Wildcats got swept. Biggest question right now, I feel like, with U of A is, what is going on down there? I feel like it's just a dumpster fire almost. U of A hasn't had back-to-back losses and been blown out that bad since 1983. March 10th, the stretch between March 10th and 12th of 1983.
Karma. After all that illegal stuff that they're doing all the time.
And ironically, the last time they lost by that much was also to USC and UCLA. So they were blown out at UCLA on March 10th, 1983, lost 111-58. That was, I want to say it was a Thursday. Then on Saturday, they went on to face USC on March 12th, 1983, and lost a close one, 72-70. But it is the first time U of A has had, let me see, consecutive games where they lost by more than 44 points combined. That is absolutely huge for them. But I think that it gives ASU a little bit of motivation, a little bit more pep in their step going into this game, knowing that even though they dropped a close one to USC, U of A also lost to them. But then, again, if you're a Wildcat, this gives you the motivation. You're hungry for a win. You're coming in off those losses. You want that win against ASU. U of A is going to be hungry for that. ASU, however, is going to be hungry for the win. Bobby Hurley still has not beaten the Wildcats since he's been here, which at some point, you know, you need that win. Is this going to be the year, do you think, that they beat the program twice?
Yeah, I think ASU is going to beat the crap out of them.
Twice or just once?
I mean, who's to say? I think they're going to definitely win this game. That's for sure.
I think they have the leg up over them in Tempe. I think when they go to Tucson at the end of February, beginning of March, I think it's actually beginning of March, I think that U of A will have more of an advantage for sure. It's going to be tough for them to play on the road in McHale Center, but you know what? It's going to come down to them being disciplined again. It's going to come down to not making terrible shot selections. It's going to come down to making free throws. It's going to come down to, are they going to take mid-range jump shots, or are they going to drive in and go for a layup, maybe try and get a foul called on them, and then get the players to foul out? That's what I feel like they have the biggest problem with, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But what's your prediction for this week's game? Do you have a score prediction? Do you have any prediction besides anything? Here's my theory. I think Remy Martin's going to ball out. I think Remy Martin's going to have an awesome night. I think he's still kind of trying to figure things out. I think that the Sun Devils are trying to figure out a rotation. I think that there's a lot of talent, and they just don't know how to work together. I think that with everything that they have, the talent, their motivation, their want and will to win is going to come to fruition in this game against the Wildcats because of everything that rides on it. What do you say?
84-70 ASU.
I would like that. I would like that very much. I think it would be an exciting game, especially being fellow Sun Devils ourselves. We're not supposed to be biased, but I mean, we went to ASU. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that.
Well, I'm not being biased. ASU's a better team.
I think this year they really are a better team. But yeah, so I think it's going to be important. Also, I do want to touch on the fact that even with the loss at USC, a lot of people were saying, oh, ASU blew their tournament chances with that loss.
No.
really they didn't. You know, according to one of the reporters at Devil's Digest, I was reading his reports today, the bubble is so bad that even after the loss and splitting the road trip in LA, they moved up 2 spots and are now out of the first 4.
Yeah, I think they're like, I guess they're out of the first 4.
They're out of the first 4 now.
That's awesome.
According to their graphs.
Yeah, like 2 days ago, I thought they were like an 11th seed.
So they're out of the first 4 now because of that. Well, at least because the bubble's so bad. Everyone's struggling. It's been a weird year.
I like
for
11
hoops,
seeds. I like 11 seeds though. 11 seeds always do well. Maybe they should be in the first 4. Who knows?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, ASU has to win out now." You know what? I think with this, it takes a little bit of pressure off them. It takes a lot of pressure off them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you have to figure they're going to have at least one more kind of silly loss that you're going to sit there scratching your head saying, "What happened?" And then you're going to have. I really think that ASU might split the road game or the road series between UofA. So they'll probably win at home, we'll win at home, and then we'll see what happens. But you have to say, I think ASU will have at least 2 losses, so the fact that the bubble is so crazy, that they're moving up, is going to be a big relief for a lot of people.
Probably.
So, anyways, that's it for It's Lit with Britt. Thanks again to my guest, Ryan Dorfman, for being on the show. Thank you all so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next week.